everyone. Here we are, and we're just waiting for Sophie to arrive. There she is.
Hello.
So we're just hoping very much that today, fingers crossed, the tech gods don't mess with us today. We have already had a slight incident, as you may have noticed. My elbow, as I was trying to check the multi-stream, my elbow caught the mouse and sent us live at 5:01, which was not perfect in anyone's imagination because we were not ready at 5:01. So yeah, I had to quickly set up an entire new broadcast for Sophie and add all the emails and bring you all across. But I'm really pleased that everyone's here and we're here. I just think, do you know what? I was just saying to Sophie, I think the tech gods have gone, that Leslie Sams, she is getting above herself. She's done 9 of these. And yesterday we pulled the plug on her completely at 20 past. And today we just thought we'd just see whether she could cope with just completely messing the whole thing up. So it's okay. Believe me, I know that I'm not in charge of this. I know that there is a higher authority. Please don't pull the plug on us today. We're really happy to be here. We're really happy to be here. So today is Sophie Douglas. Hello, Sophie.
Hello everybody. Good evening.
Hopefully the sound is good. If everyone can let me know if I'm too loud or Sophie's too soft or whatever. I've moved the mic away a little bit, so hopefully it's okay. Suzanne is here with us, and hopefully Suzanne at some point towards the end is going to announce the winner of the be part of the art.
Be me. I tried to sneak in twice.
Different platforms, Twitter, Instagram,
I didn't think of different platforms.
Oh no. Good. David's here. So I spoke to David in San Francisco last night, and I'm really pleased to see David's here. And look, Suzanne, I noticed. You noticed. She spotted you. You're a bad lot. So hopefully Suzanne is going to announce that towards the end of the broadcast. But today we've got Sophie. So as you all know how it goes. I'm first of all going to show Sophie's page in the magazine so we can see all about Sophie. So let's find you in the magazine, Sophie. Here we go. And we've shared the page. There we are. So we have to find Sophie's page, as we know. And there it is. So Sophie Douglas is there. Number 50, page number 55. And I absolutely love this new work, Sophie, of the trees. I think it's fabulous. So to contact Sophie and to read her short statement, it's on page 55. And her email, her website, which we're going to have a look at in a second. And then she's on Facebook. And she's on Instagram, so you can get in touch with Sophie there. And then there's a little intro video as well, which we did play earlier today, didn't we, on Facebook? We watched that at 9 o'clock this morning. So, yeah, you can see that on there. So these are new works, aren't they, these trees that you're showing in the magazine?
They are. They sort of started about a year ago, but it's been a lot since having my second child, so 10 months ago.
Okay, so what we're going to do now, very quickly, is we're just going to quickly go and have a quick sneaky peek at your website as well, so that when people find you, they know that they're in the right place. So I always think that's a good idea, is that because when someone says, oh, you can visit my website, and then you arrive and it looks completely unfamiliar and you're like, is this the right website? So I always think it's good to show people the artist's website, so they're like, oh yeah, I've arrived on the right website, and this is the right work. And we've got some of the trees there, and the other things on that page, like the pears and some of the drawings and such, like, are they some of your lockdown pieces? Right, these drawings here.
So I think all of that, I'm trying to look at a tiny screen. I think all of that is work created. Some of the trees were before lockdown happened, but all the paintings are in lockdown.
Okay, and what about this lovely, that looks like a flower.
The Romanesque, the greeny one.
Yeah, vegetable, bottom left.
It's the Romanesque cauliflower.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
I see that now.
love the structures, the projects about manipulating natural photographs of anything that's natural to play around with people's understanding of what is it, because it could be a piece of, well, I scuba dive. I used to be a scuba dive instructor, and that could be a piece of coral.
Right, yes, of course.
Color, you completely alter where things are from and things.
Yeah. So I've just gone across onto the next page, and you've got beach treasures, and yeah, really wide.
Some older work, yeah.
Yeah, really wide variety of work here showing on here. I love the fact you've got Pure 360. Thank you. Well done. Everyone else take note. Good girl. Gold star. We might let you win. We might let you win the portrait because you've been very, very well done. So it'd be really nice, Sophie, if you could tell us your story. I know you're only a youngster, so the story's not quite as long as mine or some of the earlier guys. But it'd be really interesting because we've been hearing about this story through art school, and Annie spoke about the atelier, and some of the others were talking about work placements and such like. So it's really, we're getting a picture of how that education works. And then I'm sure some of them will be some of the artists we talk to will be self-taught. I think it's fascinating from another artist's perspective, and also from, a younger audience maybe watching who are thinking about going into this as a career, that journey and how yours looks. You're a bit closer to it. So I'm going to give you the screen.
Thank you.
The floor is yours, my love.
The floor is mine. So I have never really left art college. I did GCSE and A-level. Art and drama was all I was really interested in, and went straight onto a foundation afterwards at Winchester, and it didn't fit. I did it, I got a merit, but I didn't engage. So I went traveling for a year, and as everyone does, and when I was traveling, I realized that I only know how to do art. It's all I loved. So I came back in time for clearing and had an interview at Oxford Brookes on like the 24th of August, and moved in the middle of September. And it was a wonderful experience. It was finding the right course, the right place, the right fit was so important, and not being in an art college is what I needed. I needed other. So I lived with automotive engineers, and my friends did English degrees and different stuff, and there was that feeding. It was a modular degree, so people on the course, like one of my best friends did anthropology and fine art, and that the mixture, there was lots of people doing publishing and fine art, and that mixture of different types of people I found really interesting. And for my first degree, the first year I sort of explored lots of areas. Second year I partied. Third year I kind of found that I'm really interested in environmental art, but I'm not a vegan. It's not my net. It's that I'm not that type of environmental. It's this sort of very normal responsibility. The world is ours, and it's ours to keep. And so I did I got some workouts. So I did pieces like, I don't know if you'll be able to see this. One of the first pieces I did, I froze, I dyed flowers. I put flowers in food
Wow.
so they suck it up, and then I froze them in blocks of ice, and I put them, it was springtime, and so I put them around the daffodils, and the idea was that they would melt and disintegrate, and it made people go, oh, what's real? Is that yellow a real daffodil? Because they're not. We've manipulated all the flowers we plant. We've manipulated. They've all been bred and things. The slight problem was it snowed. So they didn't melt for weeks. And I had like the dean of the college going, are they going to go away?
No, they're going to be here for a while, guys.
They were there for some time. And then for my final piece, my statement was, I wish to expand people's awareness of the damage we are causing a diverse and fragile planet, and with just a picture of beautiful Snowdonia. And so for my final piece, I don't have a picture of it, sadly. I stacked about 15,000 newspapers to build a wall about the same size as my studio, actually. I built a room and I projected photographs so that when you stack newspapers on top of each other, you have these beautiful lines. And because it was the entire space, there was no edging. You have this beautiful soft line, but it also physically has this presence because it's incredibly heavy. It was like 5 cars worth of newspapers from a publishing house given to me. It's incredibly heavy. And I projected everyday images of rubbish bins, your bin in the kitchen, the bin in the street. Nothing was staged. It was about, but because you went in and there was this massive wall of this picture that looked like a painting, people questioned what it was they were looking at, and then you start looking more and more, and there was a poem that went with it, which I've now had it engraved on the stone, about navigating your path through life, longing to be remembered, leaving a trace for others to discover and contemplate our passing, and this idea that we're leaving this thing behind us. So you went in, and people found it very shocking because it wasn't shocking at all. It's not anything different. So that was my first.
It's quite gentle, isn't it? It's quite a holistic message, actually. How many years ago was that? If that's not a rude question.
That was 2003.
Right. Okay. So actually, before this whole holistic approach to life had really become quite a culture.
Yeah. And it wasn't. My essay was on. In the UK, we don't really have much land art or environmental art, and I was exploring in America. There's a lot of artists working with scientists to using art to explain stuff that we don't get. Like when you throw big science words at people, they just go, I don't understand. And so I was very interested in this idea of how we can use art to help explain ourselves, explain stuff that's going on. And then I wanted to work in galleries and curate and things, and came out of uni and realised you can't get a job with a degree in the fine art. So I ran away to Mexico to go scuba diving. And bored in the office, I applied for an internship. Actually, I must have done before. I applied for an internship at Tate in their education department, and I came back and did that for 3 months, and it was brilliant. It was the pre-Raphaelite exhibition and In a Delgado Vida, and these 2 massive exhibitions with butterflies. So my job was I created these art projects for kids with butterflies. And there was just kids running around Tate Britain with glitter and butterflies everywhere.
Marvellous.
It was awesome. There was a lot of glitter going on, which you're obviously not allowed now, but it was brilliant. And then I started applying for jobs and realised that I couldn't afford to work in a gallery.
Yeah, you don't get very well paid.
The pay was so low, it just not practical. But I was very lucky, and I was still in the time where you got paid for PGCEs. So I got onto a PGCE at Reading, and I got a placement at what was Farnham Art College. It's now UCA, University College of Arts, Farnham, teaching their access course, and also working a bit on the foundation and teaching drawing. And I did my teaching training placement, and then I stayed there for a few years running the access course, which was wonderful. But something that was said last night, I didn't make any art when I started teaching, especially. It was like all my creativity went into teaching, and I had nothing.
I think Nick was saying that, wasn't he? That,
he said that last night, and it but yeah, exactly. It was such a struggle to make work, and it was like I'd run out. My jar was empty, and I love teaching. And it's one of those, it's always stuck me, that idea of those who can't teach. And actually, I think, especially in art, that's really untrue. A great artist can be a horrendous teacher, and the other way around. But I love teaching. I love that engagement. And so I did that for quite a while. I worked in different colleges, and also teaching scuba diving in London. Not quite Mexico. Nice. We have some amazing dive sites for anyone that scuba dives. Beautiful dive sites in the UK. But
in London, did you ever dive in the Thames?
No, I didn't. Colleagues did. I was in a lake called Raisbury under the.
Oh yeah, I know where that is. Yeah, but I just you touched on that, and I was like, I've always lived on that Thames estuary, and there's all those boat, the artifacts of the boats and everything, and you can imagine what an amazing history is under that.
Yeah,
under the Thames. Yeah, fascinating.
It's because it's a current as well. It's very very dangerous diving.
Yes, I can imagine.
Current.
Yeah, it's a dangerous river.
Yeah, I know people have been sent in for handbags and stuff like that. Have been requested.
Very good idea. Going to get a handbag, not.
Weird fun. So I did that. So I taught for a few years, and then I had some personal stuff. I decided to stop teaching and do a master's. I applied for Chelsea. I remember walking around going, there's so many students. It's like bums on seats, and like the access to teachers just isn't there. Like I couldn't get anyone to answer what access we had to anything. There was a schedule. Everyone seemed so busy. It was a really bad fit, and I sort of went, okay, I need to remember that first course I did. That I went to Winchester because it was a good place. That's what my teacher said, not because I knew I wanted to go there. And so then I went for an interview at Kingston, and they had fantastic facilities, really easy to get to. And it was $3,500 for a master's, and it was like the cheapest way to get a studio for a year and technicians. And I had a blast. I was at 9 a.m. every morning. I was 5 days a week. I was in the studio. About 10:30, the tutors rocked up. Right, Sophie, still here? Yes. And just really, I think with doing masters, PGCEs, it's your time. It's your, not PGCE, master's degrees. It's your time to really explore and try things and see what happens. And that it was wonderful, really playing around. And I did things. I wanted to look back at technology and communication, and I made this map, and it's a map of it's a blueprint made up of pieces of technology that have been taken apart and traced around and layered over and photographed and layered over, and then this print was produced. And from this print, I then made people dress up as gorillas and I did a lot with my poor father in Mexico. It was hot for him, and I did there are a lot of pictures of
people in gorillas. I'm just really glad I didn't know you then, because I can imagine I would have been sitting around somewhere in a gorilla mask.
Well, it was amazing. Not everyone. It wasn't all gorillas. Some was not. But just how amazing my friends are. So this one is a barrister, fully dressed. Look at the map. So this is one of my best friends in her wedding dress. But I've also got her husband also put on the wedding dress.
So there's a lot of photography coming through here.
So I was doing a lot of photography. I also started earning a living a bit from doing photography and photographing. Just starting to photograph weddings and friends and doing portraits and things like that. But also about technology started changing. So how you can... One of the problems I found, I love film photography. I also had a break-in and my film camera got stolen, and I've never been able to replace it.
Were you watching Richard on the first?
Yeah.
And the big medium format cameras, and it's funny, isn't it? It's when you start to with photography, it's so close to the edge of commerciality.
Yeah, and it's really,
so close.
I think that I don't fit well in the commercial photography world. So I did weddings and I do friends' weddings and events, but when I've tried to go into that, it's not a fit for me. I'm too fine art, and
I think it's really great that what's coming through is that you've started to understand how things feel. That's what I'm picking up, is you're understanding that instinct is a really powerful thing, and we must listen to our instinct, mustn't we?
Yeah.
And really understand how we feel, because when you're not in alignment, then everything's clunky and you just kind of don't, it's like wading through mud. But the minute you're in alignment and you're like, I'm in the right place, like you said, I found Kingston and I was in the right place, and you're in flow, everything kind of like opens up in front of you, and it's just, everything becomes really easy.
And it's fine. And it's I think what I'm especially sort of learning and understanding is it's when it's the right time for you as well. Because it's I sort of have phases of doing lots and lots of making, no making, lots of making, no making, going in and out, and it's fine, because I went to a talk along from Ai Weiwei at the Royal Academy, and he was asked whether he made work when he was in prison, and he said you can't make work when you're in it. And it was this really interesting idea, because I've had some, after my master's, just after my master's, actually, the end of my master's, I met my husband, and who then promptly got quite ill. And I used painting to get me out, painting and photography to get me out of it. And my paintings were these abstract geometrics. So underneath, I literally just let rip all the stuff inside. You just let rip on a canvas. And then I have this overwhelming sense of it is going to be okay. And you have to say, I am going to be okay. It is going to be okay. We are going to get through this. And that's what all the geometric shapes and color was about. This idea of we have control, we own it, we own our lives, we have control of our lives. And so that's what I did these. And then in my photography, I was looking at the world and what's going on. I have a couple of pieces to show. This was I love this, but the bird movement, but he was so static.
And you're just thinking to, I mean, Annie's just said photography can be as deep as you want it, and I absolutely agree. As a photographer myself, that's why I say it's just on the edge, and people are always trying to, and I found, like you know, people are always trying to pull me away from the bit where I wanted to go deep dive into the real exploratory philosophy side. And everyone was like, yeah, but can you just do a portrait of my kids?
Yeah.
And I'd be like, well, no, because that's not, and I had to close my studio in the end and say, I'm not doing that anymore. I almost had to put all my cameras in a bag and zip them up and leave them for a while, so people forgot and stopped asking me if I would turn up at their wedding and do their wedding photography. I'm like, that's not quite where I want to take it. I want to go the complete, absolute diametric opposite.
It's an interesting, because I love photographing my friends' events, and I'm so privileged that, because like,
well, you're a much nicer human than me.
It is but these are like my closest friends. Yeah. Like the couple that introduced me to my husband, I got to photograph their wedding, and I know when I think that's the thing. I know them, the relationship I have with them. I know the picture that her mother will want, his father will, and to be able to give that gift to somebody, I think it makes me feel amazing. I love being able to do that, to photograph somebody. I've done one of my friends, I've done her wedding, I've done pregnancy shoots, I've done family shoots, I've done birthday, her third child's first birthday party. And like, I love that I've got this portfolio of work of seeing this family grow and change. And that's
very intimate, isn't it? That's very intimate. That's not just like the guy in the street.
Yeah. I don't want to go and just, it's not, I don't think I don't have the time. Maybe I've got a friend who does a stranger photography, and they are phenomenal. But that's all he does. That's the thing that really turns him on. I'm more turned on by nature,
which is why you've been going down the road of these beautiful, almost abstract.
Yeah.
nature shots, the highly colourful ones.
It started with that one, which was on my honeymoon. Called
Gorgeous.
And it was, I went back and photographed it about 4 more days. It was because it was a foggy day that you got that light.
Yeah.
When it was sunny, there was it just didn't hold that resonance. But I think that's where I really got interested in photographing trees and nature, and that idea of exploring. And then this is very much, the new work is about, that was taken on a proper big old camera. These are all iPhone free apps. How we can manipulate the technology changes is one side. We've got this amazing technology everywhere. You've always got your phone in your pocket, and what you can do to manipulate and change and alter. And there's sort of 2 sides. One is about exploring nature, and the other is, that's true of everything. When you look on Instagram, how many people have filtered? How many people? Zoom has a button you can press to make yourself look prettier.
I so need that button.
It's true, but it has this button, and like, why do you guys look amazing? They're like, oh, well, you press the filter. Apparently, everyone in business does it.
They press the filter, they put on the backgrounds, they've got their green screen. See that? But that's exactly what Annie's saying, isn't it? With this technology, I mean, we've come, I don't know about you. I mean, I started off in analog photography, and I loved it because I loved it's all about light and it's all about chance. You just never quite know.
Yeah. And I also loved, because I used to teach darkroom. So how you need the 2 to marry to get, and how you can
the light and the chance
so much. I used to do a lot of layering acetates and drawings over the top of the paper when I was printing, and just really, and painting up, using the chemicals to paint on the paper surface. Yeah. It stopped. Don't do that. No,
people don't do that, please.
I ended up having my first date with my husband. In fact, I ended up in hospital with an allergic reaction. So don't do that. If you do, wear gloves. Don't.
Yeah, I remember I had a full darkroom set up at home, and after I had Christy, I was so scared because these chemicals are so strong, and I was like, no. And I had to pack the whole thing up and put it in the loft because I was just terrified. Those chemicals, now you don't have to do that. So what you're doing now is all digital, is it?
Yeah. So it's all digital. I still have film cameras, and I have Polaroid. I have an original Polaroid from when we were young.
Yeah.
And you can.
You're still young, Sophie. I'm just going to point that out. You're still young.
If my baby would sleep, I'd feel it, but she doesn't. Yes.
She will eventually.
Well, it's interesting. It's always, we talk about resilience, and all this work that I love. I really enjoy doing it. It came out of a need to make when she was first born, and you're sitting there breastfeeding for 9 hours a day or 10 hours or whatever it is, and you've got your phone and nothing else to do, and how you can. There's so many resources now that you can do on the go, on the move, and what you can do with that, I think, is just fascinating.
There's no reason not to be creative these days.
There's no reason, and to express yourself, and yeah,
and time. You'll find the time. Yeah. Time is quantum, so it is about our mindset of time. You've got plenty of time. It's just how you decide to use it, and you decided to use it because you found that this is, exploring and teaching and learning is obviously something that really gets you up and gets you going.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So I'm loving. So the colours you've chosen, quite bright poppy colours, haven't you? What's that all about?
It's all of them. I love bright colours, and so they're the idea of they have to be not real.
Yes.
In this work, I think that's really important, that it's not a real one, and it's only 2 colours in every picture. It's only 2 colours. It's the Adobe one of the photo. Yeah. Now I can't remember which app it is. It's the 4th button in my box. It's how bad you are on phone. It's that button there. And they're all free apps, and I think what's really interesting is that you can make stuff really ugly or beautiful. I mean, I know it's very much in the eye of the beholder, but some pictures you make one way and it just doesn't work. There's nothing. It's dead. Like someone, I can't remember which one it was talking about breath.
Yes, that was Richard Hayes.
Yeah, and the breath of a picture when there's a life brought into it, and I love how these are so. They seem so abstract. I've only got this one printed here. If anyone goes to Hailsham, Ribs & Co has a green one on their wall, on a smaller frame. But this idea that you kind of look at it again and go, wait a minute.
They're so vibrant.
And it's also the paper as well. I print specifically on a rag with a texture. So it could, when you look at it closely, it doesn't look like a photograph.
Yeah, no, they're so dynamic. You so want to you're being pulled in, and I think because you've gone for just that two-tone, it is really working on that dynamic approach. Like I was saying to Nick yesterday, they're quite cinematic, aren't they?
Yeah,
they're quite cinematic and I think that's what comes of that sweeping of colour. And you're not quite sure what it is you're looking at, and so they start almost vibrating in front of you, which I absolutely love. So you've been doing that, but also during lockdown, I know you've been doing loads of lives teaching people, because I know you have this passion for teaching. So foolhardily at the beginning, a bit like me at the beginning of lockdown, we both lost our mind, I think, slightly. And said we were going to do lots of live broadcasting to keep everyone uplifted and happy. And then both kind of went, when can we stop? When's this going to be over?
I remember when I originally set up the art school after my son was born I set up, it's July 2017 I started it. And I remember it was all you had to do lives to get seen on social media, and just this pain of doing a live. And then lockdown happened, and we locked down because my husband had a heart transplant. We locked down slightly early. We were about a week earlier than everyone else, and stood and watching what was happening on the news and this change of people when we were locked down, when we went into sort of isolated, when we locked down. But everyone was like, we're not locking down, it's never going to happen. And within a week, people were like, why haven't we locked down yet? And seeing how the media and the government and kind of change people's perspective to, we really actually do need to do this, but also how are we going to cope, and what is this going to look like? And I need other. I love my babies. I need other. I'm not a stay-at-home mom. It's not my nature. And also the idea that people are sitting there alone and scared, and they don't know what to do, and having a sense of routine, a sense of something. So I did 9 weeks or 5-day a week, 15 minutes every morning.
Yes, you did.
For 9 weeks, plus half an hour on Wednesday night. And actually, since I stopped, it's been harder. I thought at the end of the 9 weeks, I was like, oh, I'm done. I can't. I'm just talking the same thing over and over again. And then I stopped and was like, actually, it was a mutual need of having a routine, having something outside, just doing. And I loved it. I have no drawings here to show you because they are all in Gallery North. They went up last night. Gallery North is started 19th of September. And
they're doing a virtual exhibition, aren't they?
A virtual exhibition that it will be open in October till Christmas. One you have to book. I know Jeremy, he's your last in your last.
Yeah, he's number 30.
Yeah, so there's a few purists in there.
There's a few pure artists in there,
but they're all, and it was really amazing putting up and going, wow, like
there's a lot of drawing
and painting, and it really challenged me and made me. It's about what I love teaching. I love teaching observational drawing. I think that for me, the art school is very much about those basic materials and techniques and processes, and it's about the person, the student, getting their voice as an artist and trying things out. And whatever stage you are, I do courses. I've been to Mary Burwash Potter. I've been to her.
Yeah.
I've been to a few different pottery teachers. I love learning. Jazz the Alchemist, who I know is in the book, is I've had quite a few of her glass classes and trying different materials. I think my work's very eclectic. I mean, up here we've got a oil painting of a landscape.
I love the shells one over here. That's
the
one we were looking at. Yeah.
Over 100 monoprints, drawings, paintings of shells. I've got abstracts. And it's because I love materials and I'm a fine artist. And I think a fine artist, it's about the idea behind it. And what's that? Often the exhibition will drive what I make and what material I use, as opposed to a photographer or a painter who the material is very much embedded into their practice. I think I've always been jealous of people who have their thing and that this is what they do.
I have to say, to be honest with you, having obviously worked with hundreds of, probably thousands of artists now, most of them are like you, that they move between medium. And so you might see one medium being dominating for a while, but then they'll move on to another medium and it'll kind of like evolve. And even if they stay with the same medium, the style will slightly change and evolve actually over time.
And develop. But I think it's also, I mean, I think mine has very much been driven because I was predominantly a teacher.
Yes.
For such a long time before doing this. And I taught foundation and BTEC and access. So you teach that one day I'm a graphic designer and the next day I'm a painter and the next day I'm an illustrator and everything else. And so and I love that jumping around and trying out different things. This one's got no sound.
Well, hopefully we haven't lost it all again. That would be very disappointing if it all goes off again.
You never quite know because it's the strangest part of all these lives is you don't actually know.
You just don't know if it's all happening. No, exactly. I think we're okay. I'm sure everyone will tell us if it goes quiet again, but we've done quite a good long period today, so that's cool. Yeah. Now, and I think, like you were saying, the thing that was interesting there was during lockdown, I did the lives, you did the lives, we're doing the broadcast. Absolutely. I realized that everyone was saying to me, thank you so much. It's keeping me motivated. But actually, it was keeping me motivated too. And I think
that's why they're successful is when there's very much a two-way dialogue. That's when it's successful. When with these lectures, they're not lectures, talks, chats.
Yeah, these chats.
They're so engaging because we want to hear what's going on, and we need to see other. I think we've talked before about our art tribe, the pure art tribe.
Yeah, the pure art tribe. We're not right for everyone, but everyone's welcome.
Yeah, it's that finding the right thing for you. The thing that I think a lot of artists, you make a lot of work at uni, and it'd be interesting to see how many people do an art degree and stick with art when you don't have that tribe around you to help you. And I think with Pure, it's really interesting of you're creating that tribe again for people. And that we need that chat. We need that. What are other people up to? How are they doing it? Thinking about that. I want to make something. Oh, what artists can I?
Yeah. The Pure tribe is very much people say, oh, when they come to exhibitions, and I'm chatting to collectors or just visitors and they'll say, what do you do? What art do you make? And I say this. Yeah. This. So the Pure Tribe is my creative output because I hold all of you so you can all be massively creative. And then you all I know this happens quite regularly, is you turn to me and go, okay, Leslie, what we're going to do with this? And I love that because I'm a creative, but you are all my creative output because I deliver you through to an exhibition or wherever it is you want to go, whatever looks right for you. I try and come up. That's how we came up with ART360. I was like, okay, guys, you tell me what it is you need, and I'll put my thinking cap on and come up with something that hopefully works. So it is I have to be in alignment with it. Otherwise it won't work. And I love what I do. I truly love it.
You do look like you enjoy it.
I do really enjoy it. And the privilege. I mean, today, I was saying, first day back so I teach as well, as you know, and first day back at Eastbourne College teaching my students, and I dashed back from there, and I was tired. I can't lie. I mean, it's been tired. I was tired today because I was approached by 30 students who haven't seen me since March going, Miss!
Oh, all first day back.
All first day of me being back. And they all like in a queue, like wanting to ask questions. And so I came back here. But actually, as soon as I walked in here and I turned it on, apart from the slight hiccup of catching my elbow with the mouse, I felt I'm home. I'm where I should be. And that's just such a privilege, I have to say, to have found. But that's, you know, when I'm working with artists, you have to be in alignment with yourself.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you won't create something that resonates with people. And, you know, clearly teaching and all of these different is so intrinsically bound in you. I mean, even look, the necklace you're wearing and your earrings match your current phase of artwork. And I was like, that is just amazing. You are you're like an artwork in yourself, my love.
Oh, thank you.
You do. You look like an artwork in yourself. And I think that's great. You know, that is, you're living your life. You're living your life.
Yeah.
And letting it evolve. So where do you see that going? Because you've been doing the lockdown, you've been doing loads of teaching. You now got this work up. You're exploring all different media. What is the future looking like for Sophie? What does that look like?
Well, the master plan, the
master plan,
the making, and I'm very excited. I've got 2 commissions at the moment, which are really different. I've got one massive abstract, and then I've got one floral, and I love that. So I'd love to keep doing I love commission work, and how I work is it's very much they say what they want, and I explore that, and I use it to challenge rather than doing my style, to challenge my work and how I'm working. So I'd love to keep doing more of them and more exhibitions, and then teaching. I'm exploring going online. I think that I'm best in a room, which is not great in the current situation. I think where I excel with teaching is in a room with someone, because I can feel when they go, oh, I can't cope with this material.
So like one-to-one, do you think? Like more of a one-to-one?
Do one-to-ones. Being a high-risk household, it can be a bit trickier.
Yeah.
The master plan is to get my own studio somewhere at some point, where I can work and teach. And
that's a lovely ambition. Have you started visualizing what that might look like?
It's fully mapped out.
Good.
Yeah.
You need to do a vision postcard and make sure you know exactly what that looks like.
Got it all done. I'm on the back.
Good girl.
I've got it all done.
Keep having it there where you clean your teeth.
I've been dreaming it for some time.
This is what I said to the kids today, because they were going to me, Miss, I want to do this, and I've seen you've done that, and I want to do a digital magazine. Don't tell Chris. Chris, if you're watching, don't worry. And they were like, and I've seen you done broadcasting, Miss, and can we do some of that? And I was like, okay, can you all go away and make storyboards first?
Yeah.
So I sent them all off to make storyboards. Storyboards first, people.
Yeah.
So I think it's a really good thing to do when you've got an ambition or an aspiration. That's what we have as human beings. The unique thing we have is an imagination.
Yeah.
And we can imagine our future. We can imagine something different. So to put that onto paper, and right before lockdown, we were doing our vision postcards and everything, and having those around all the time, you can imagine into reality. So good, well done.
I think if you don't, years ago,
you do have to take action though.
Yeah, well, years ago I was part of a community art project, 10 art creatives thrown together to make a project in 10 weeks. And every week we had someone come in, and one day we had this life coach came in. So it was I think around 2009-10, and life coaching was very new and very Really, really.
What we're paying? Are we going to pay you for this?
And he was amazing, and we probably all ended up in tears. She went, if you don't say out loud what you want, you'll never get it.
Exactly.
Stop going. I know you've got to say it out loud, and then you've got to work out. I want this. What are my steps to get there? And then in that go. I think lockdown's been really interesting in what you letting go of stuff, what you can control and what you can't control. And at the art school, I got to keep changing it.
Yeah.
How we're going to be doing. I'm sort of writing online courses at the moment and working out how I can make them true to me.
Yeah.
But what I will be trying to do is once a month going. So the 23rd, we're going to Dungeness, which is, if anyone's been, it's pretty big. We don't need to get anywhere near each other.
You did one in the vineyard, didn't you?
We did one in the vineyard, yes. I've done that. This is the second year I've done the vineyard, and I'm actually photographing it. Actually, my first photography gig this year is I'm going to photograph them on Saturday for the first day of the harvest. I hope, all being well, and just explore. I love the idea of going and photographing and exploring the story, because I sort of spent quite a bit of time drawing that. It's off the line, just outside Hellingham.
Yeah,
and it's a rosé vineyard, and it's stunning.
Love rosé.
Oh, it's amazing. It's wonderful. And they're just lovely people. We're so lucky where we live, is we've got these places that are beautiful, and we can go and paint and draw there. It's whatever the
we
weather.
are truly blessed with living in this. Like, I know there's people looking from all over the world. We've got people looking in from America, quite a lot of people looking in from America, and we live in the southeast of England, quite near the sea, but also quite near the countryside, and it is absolutely bucolic. We are very, very privileged, but we do appreciate it.
We do. Massively.
We do appreciate that we're very, very lucky. So Dungeness, you're going to do a live drawing day.
Yeah, in the real, and then I'll be doing some private classes here. Obviously, not many. Working around the children and trying to it's work-life balance. We're trying to get the children back into childcare, because it's tough on them. It's been really hard. It's been hard on everyone for different reasons, but it's tough.
It's a little bit like grief, isn't it? I found it's a bit like grief.
There is going to be a lot of that type of processing needed to get through this, because I've just started another. I have lots of projects always going, and I've started a pen pal project with a few of my creative friends around the world to write to each other each month, because what I've missed, the thing that I've really grieved and missed, is communication with people. And especially if we're going to get my international friends, I don't know when I'm going to get to see them in Canada and Hong Kong and Australia. I don't know. So, but how can I keep that personal thing? So we are sort of sending each other bits of art, philosophy, texts, things we find inspiring. And
that's lovely. I love that idea. They're like kind of going analog.
Yes, totally analog.
Let's go analog. And just write to each other and keep in touch in an analog way, because that's just got so much more depth to it, hasn't it?
And the idea actually originated when I started teaching Access in 2004. We would get the students in the first week to write themselves a postcard, and we sent it to them on the last week of the year. And
there is an online thing, which is you can write a letter to your future self. And if you Google that, you can write a letter to your future self, and this website holds it for you, and you can choose the date you want to get it back. So it can be anything from like 3 months to 10 years, and it will send it back to you. And I love that idea. But I think, like you said, it's balance, isn't it? So, a bit in the real world, a bit in the digital world, but, just keep everything balanced.
And if it doesn't work for you, I think it is important. Going back to what Ai Weiwei said about not making work in the moment, some people will be unable to make right now. I know a lot of my students are gardening, and that we've talked about it a lot. That idea that going and tending your garden It's really good for well-being. The art school is very centered on well-being and
getting your hands in mud and your feet in mud. Leonie was saying, wasn't she, on Sunday, about if you feel overwhelmed, take your shoes and socks off and stand.
Yep. It's really
yourself.
balancing and not beating yourself up if you can't do it. There are times in your life when you need to make yourself do something.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's other times when you step back. Some other time, sometimes you need a crutch. Sometimes you need to be the crutch.
Yeah.
And working out how to make sure that I think ultimately I've come to terms. I'm happy. I'm a happy person. I'm very blessed.
Yeah, like I said on Sunday, I choose happy. That's my mode. That's my mode of choice.
And it's when you get unhappy, what made that, and
what steps you have to then take.
Exactly.
And like you said, with the art school, Pure is very much about the whole person. So it's about, we don't just look after you as an artist, we look after you as a person. So we think about your mindset, and we think about your physical health, and making sure that we give you good advice about eating well, etc. And I think, hopefully that's what this tribe is about. And I know that the art school is becoming quite embedded into what Pure does as well. And I hope that it will become more embedded into.
Hopefully.
You will all know that Sophie has been the genius behind our Facebook presence. And
my other life.
Your other life. She has done such an amazing job on Facebook for everyone, because the engagement is just off the scale. And I thank you very much on behalf of everybody else for that, because you've done such a super job. And Instagram is good as well, but we've been doing Facebook for 10, 15 years, whereas Instagram we started that at the beginning of lockdown. We're new to that, but we're getting there. We're nearly at 1,000 followers, which I think
social media, if you had told me 10 years ago that my day job would be doing social media for companies, what are you talking about? That's not a job. But it is, and it's a really interesting,
really important one.
It's fascinating because it's publishing and marketing, and how the changes in the world and how things have changed. I did Southeast Open Studios, and it was a great experience to do. But the entire purpose is people going to places, and it can only ever exist online in a certain capacity.
Yeah.
And working out how you can, with something like Pure, you can actually you can just switch the focus to international family. Yeah. And that, because we're online, there is no boundary with borders.
Yeah.
And that's what's working out what works for you and which bit you focus on at the time.
It's so exciting to see us do that, to switch the focus from our we had quite a wide community, I'd say. We had quite a wide reach out to the most of the UK and near Europe. But now we've gone literally across America and Australia, and we've got people from all, across the globe. And I just think that's amazing for them and amazing for us. We're all humans living this life together.
And especially now, this
pandemic. Yeah.
And that's
exactly.
It's not over there.
No. So you watch this space, because we're still developing, and Sophie and I are still working on stuff. So I'm going to come back up, and I am. Oh, sorry, no, wrong thing. I'm not doing. Do you know what? I know I disappeared. What is happening today is that I am tired. You can see that I'm tired, can't you? It's those children, they drained me. And so I pressed the wrong button and turned myself off. Which is obviously what my brain is going, Leslie, you're tired. You need to take a break from this. But we've got lots of questions. So let's have a look at some of the questions. So, in an ideal world, would you choose to work within the museum sector again, teach, or focus on art for outdoor spaces? Good question. That's Suzanne.
Teach.
Teach,
and I think if you said pick, are you an artist or a teacher? Teacher is the one I love the most. I get the most pleasure from. Making is the other side of it, that coin. So I think teaching very much that's what I love. The other bit comes now. I can't teach without making.
Suzanne, you forgot to put on there, do Facebook for Leslie. Obviously, Sophie would choose. Sophie will choose that first. No. No, be at the bottom. Photography can be as deep or as shallow as you want it. Absolutely, Annie. I think we kind of covered that off before. I think that's absolutely the case, and that's why I'm fascinated by that. It's so close. There's like a hair's breadth between the two, and you know that. Whereas with other mediums, it's not quite so.
And I think with photography, because you can make, I take it a lot into. Often the starting point is photography, and that is very much the concept gets pulled by photography. That drawing. Someone said something about drawing. Drawing is very different. Drawing is about being very present and very mindful, and often not about trying to get away from this idea of, oh, what's the idea behind it? Is it clever? No, it's just to draw. I mean, this exhibition was the first time at the Shell. So, was the first time I've done an exhibition ever where it was just drawing and painting. There was no big idea. It was just drawing and painting. And I have to say, it was the most terrifying thing I've ever done. I'm happy to do some weird installation performance anywhere, anytime, it's fine. But drawing,
you're completely exposed, aren't you, with drawing? You're completely exposed. Whereas with photography, you have a piece of kit. Yeah. There is something between you and it.
If anyone does weddings, you will always get the bloke coming up to you going, "Oh, I put it on."
Yes. 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 Yeah. Or the other person who says to you, "Oh, I could do that." Off you go. Be my guest.
There you go.
I'm not quite sure what this one means. It says can be facile, though, all those apps. I'm not quite sure what that means.
I'm guessing fascinating.
Fascinating. Or maybe. I think that might come back with that, Annie, because I'm not quite sure what you mean by that. How do you print? At home on a large printer, or do you get someone else to do it for you?
No, these ones are and all of my limited edition. So paintings, I do limited edition prints. I only print on one type of paper from Print Space in London, because especially living in London, I know the quality of them. I don't know if you can see the paper. It's beautifully.
And you turn it on its side, so you probably get more of an idea if you like lay it down and look. Yeah, you can see how thick that is.
It's just stunning, and the colours are always amazing. Like these ones don't look as bright on the phone, and you get them and go, "Wow, it's amazing!" So I print from the Print Space,
right? And you get.
I have my work's also for sale on Saatchi, but I don't do any printing from them. I only sell fine art prints through them.
Okay, so you send them the image and then they get it printed on your behalf.
Online, you put your pictures up and they do everything. If you're selling them only as prints, so I don't sell. So I don't sell any originals through Saatchi. I only sell prints. So it's just. I mean, I think
that's incredible.
I've forgotten his name. The photographer at the beginning,
Richard Heaps.
He was saying that you know. These are free platforms. Get on it.
Yeah.
I've only sold a couple of pictures through Saatchi, but it's a couple of pictures I wouldn't have sold any other way.
I think everyone has, again, it's that be in alignment with yourself, listen to your instincts, see how it feels for you, what's right for you. Not everything is right for everybody. But if you put yourself up on Saatchi and it feels right for you and it starts working, then that's great, isn't it?
And it's a very different product as well. We haven't really touched products or instincts. So I think, I mean, when I think of pure, I think of original, bespoke.
Yes, we don't sell any kind of reproductions.
Yeah.
But we do sell photography. We do sell digital-based art.
Yeah.
But we don't sell like your classic giclée print.
Between this is a limited edition print of a painting.
We don't sell those.
This is a limited edition one, but it's his own. That is the original art.
Yes, the plate, the original plate, only exists as a photograph, and that's how it was conceived. So it's original printmaking.
And it's something interesting.
Hang on a second. What? Knocked that over. I'm just going to I'm going to do a little bit of promotion here. and I'll pick up the pure sign later. I wrote this book, which is What's the Story? And it's the story of original printmaking. And it's all about original printmaking. You can buy that off of the Pure website. I wrote that book. It's a collaboration with all the artists, and I must have written it. It's got to be 8 years old now. But that's all about original printmaking, and digital was just starting to emerge. My Pure thing is on the floor. We'll worry about that later. But yeah, if anyone's interested in that discussion about what is original printmaking, it's got lots of printmakers in there and lots of printmakers making comments. So people like Catherine Jones and Brenda Hartill, who we're going to interview, Dawn Cole, all very well-known printmakers. Michael Barrett, who was president of the Royal Etchers, Mandra Averillo.
Because I think when digital came out, there was a lot of, well, anyone could do it. You could print one, but if you've got an etching plate, you can print it. So
it is about the plate and how the image was conceived.
Yeah.
If the image was conceived as a painting, and then you have them copied, that wasn't conceived to be a print, so it's not an original print.
Yes.
If the image was conceived to always be a print, to be a multiple edition, that's an original print.
Yeah.
And that's why digital photo montage falls. People who do digital photo montage are accepted by the Royal Etchers now because their work is conceived. So, for instance, what you do, if you were doing multi-layers of work, they would consider that as original printmaking.
Yeah.
So people like Simone Riley and Vivian Oldfield are doing digital photo montage, and they are accepted now as by the Royal Etchers. So I think that's absolutely fantastic. The next question: most of us creators have a lot of solitude, so the Pure Tribe and interactive broadcasts have been a lifeline to us. Thank you. Well, I'm really glad, because that's why they were conceived, and we've done a lot of work, Sophie and I, and Molly and Louisa and Hildegard and everyone behind the scenes, to hold you as best we can. So we're very glad that you like them, because I'm loving it, apart from wrecking my studio. Let's not worry about that. If one does not connect with one's work, it shows. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you can see it absolutely 100%. All the apps she mentioned that are available online can be facile. You have to be selective. Absolutely.
Oh, yes.
Sorry, Annie. Yes, now I understand what you're saying.
It's I think the how exploring how you work them. A friend had a portrait where she used this app and she looked amazing, and like this, it was bizarre, this completely different. And I did it, and I looked like a very angry drag queen, and I swear it could have been. And you just go, but I press the same buttons.
Yeah.
And it's I'm fascinated by how these apps change and what works and what does. I mean, for me, this series, it's a very sort of set formula, but how I love it. I love going to the woods, and I love looking up, and that idea when you look up, and every time it's different. And now I'm getting more and more images. You've really got to look to see which ones are different and what the different types of trees are and things. And I love that you have to go, wait a minute, is that an oak? Because it's called oak. But is it an oak? Because everything's been removed from it. And you've got these certain apps can do some things and others, and how the technology changes, and will keep changing.
Yeah, I think that's a lesson in life, though, isn't it? It's like you don't have to be, everything doesn't work for everyone, and you can be selective on what you choose, and what works for you might not work for me, and that's okay.
It's a fascinating. I bought
completely fine.
At the beginning of lockdown, I got the new iPad and the new pencil, and it's fascinating because I've got a big graphic tablet that I've got an A3 graphic tablet somewhere that I used to use many moons ago, and I have never engaged in drawing digitally. I've really struggled with it. Apple's got it.
Really?
The feeling of sketch and paint, and it's not the same. There is something very. I mean, I teach observational drawing with pencils and ink, and that's my sort of thing. They are so close in there. I would pick it up and draw with it, whilst before I've never engaged. The pencil feels nice in your hand.
Wow. Did you remember that Hockney exhibition at the Royal Academy?
Yeah.
Where he did all those iPad drawings? They were amazing.
Yeah.
I've got the book of that somewhere. I'm not going to go and find it though, because I might knock something else over. And if it happened to be Jonathan's sculpture, he probably wouldn't speak to me again.
I actually hid all my books because I thought I have a crazy amount of books.
Yeah, me too. Crazy amount of art books.
Yeah, everywhere.
I thought Suzanne uses that. So she uses the graphic pad and pen on a daily basis. And I think when we were talking to her, she showed us the graphics pad and the pen. And that's what, when you were saying it, I was like, I'm sure someone else has said about this. So Suzanne, now you've popped up there, are you going to tell us the winner of the winner, be part of the art winner portrait? Come on, look, Sophie's very excited. Are you going to tell us the winner, who it was? Go on, announce it live. And Chris uses the graphics pad and pen as well. Yes, come on then. Do you want to come up live? Shall I invite you live up so you can do it? Hang on a second. Let me invite you live. Don't do it yet. Don't go.
Drum roll.
Drum roll. Thank you. I'm going to invite you. Hang on. Yes, I'm going to invite you. Yes, you have to come up live. She's saying no. You've got to come up live now. No. Yeah, you're going to come up and tell us, because if it's not Sophie, she's going to cry. We had
poker face. It's my Oscar face.
Vincent's saying there is a plastic screen that you can get for drawing on iPad that makes it feel like paper.
Oh,
I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
Oh,
yeah, because Vincent's obviously everything is drawing, but obviously he's I say obviously, sorry, obviously not everyone knows that. He's a graphic artist and an interior architect.
Oh, right.
So he does a lot of architectural drawings, and so I suppose he would know these kind of things. Hopefully Suzanne's going to arrive. There she is!
Hello!
Hello! You hate me now, don't you?
Sorry, I had to plug my earphones in, so we didn't have the feedback thing going again.
Yeah, that'd be dreadful. Go on then. Big live announcement. Woo!
Well, we have our studio crocodile. If you can bear with me, I think you need to know that first.
Oh. Studio crocodile. Okay.
And it's very important in the process of selecting winners. So our studio crocodile went in the pot.
Okay.
And selected the winner. So it's done very officially.
It's very fair.
And our winner is Yasida Linney.
Oh,
I think she's online.
I think she is. Yes.
So we need to speak at some point to sort out.
Oh.
You, the portrait, or someone of your choice, and we'll get you a little print as well. I'll leave the framing to you.
Oh, that's lovely.
So thanks to everyone for taking part.
Yay! She said yay. Well done. Sophie's very upset. She's just looking. She's like
my Oscar face.
Well done. You know, we've all practiced it. Yes, well done.
But well done for trying, Sophie. You did do a few entries. I caught you out there.
She hangs her head in shame. I'm loving the fact that not only have we got the crocodile, we've also got the pigeon behind you as well.
That's no pigeon, I'll have you know. That's a seagull.
That's a seagull.
As you can see, yeah.
Yeah, there it is. There it is. Oh, Suzanne, you moved too quickly. You froze. She froze. Oh, dear. Well done, Yasida. That's really great. Thank you so much for coming on, Suzanne. Sorry, you froze. Thank you, Sophie. That has been really interesting. Oh, you're welcome. It was so interesting. Can I have the crocodile as well? Oh, you're pushing your luck now. We all want the crocodile and maybe the seagull. So thank you, Sophie. That's been really fascinating. We've all learned so much as well. And not only that, but a bit about technology as well. I think that's been really interesting and intriguing. So thank you. Please keep up the good work on Facebook for us.
I will.
And you can let your children come home now. Sophie sent her children off to a neighbour. And your husband, or just the children? And the husband as well.
And the husband. It's otherwise they always, if anyone saw any of my Facebook Live, I'm going to make a video of all the times I got bombed by my children on my Facebook Lives. And there has one of them, he drew a rocket spaceship. I'm drawing a picture, and his hand appears underneath the board and scribbles, and he screams that he's drawn a rocket spaceship and runs off again.
They're going to be creative, my love. They're going to be creative.
He drew on the walls today.
Oh dear. Oh, we won't talk about that. Okay. So tomorrow, push over that. I know they've all drawn on walls. I've got 3, and they've all drawn on walls. Tomorrow we've got Jane Cordery and Nick Hebditch again. So Jane, the lovely Jane, has very kindly offered to share her space with Nick tomorrow. So we'll carry on chatting to Nick, and then Jane will also join us. And tomorrow I won't have been to college to teach, so hopefully my elbows won't be doing rogue stuff or knocking things over, and I won't be quite so tired. And although, I mean, honestly, you've been invigorating, so I've really, really enjoyed it, and I really, really thoroughly enjoyed that chat. So thank you. Sophie was also worried that she didn't have enough of a story, and I was like, no, we're just all jealous because you're just too young. Thank you, everyone, and I'll see you back in the normal place, in our normal place tomorrow, and you'll see everything will go up on Facebook with the links and everything. So yeah, bye for now and see you tomorrow. Thanks, Sophie. It's been brilliant.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.